If yesterday was acceleration day, today's consolidation day.
So we are running a hack, and we're on the fourth day of a 5-day collaborative hackathon.
Let's hack. The hackathon is a really powerful mechanism we use to bring lots of people together to solve really complex challenges and build complex solutions.
It's all about bringing together the right people, so key stakeholders from around the business, perhaps even other companies, all into one room with the right information, following a very intense, structured process where they get the chance to work together to solve very complex problems.
There's a lot of transformation events out there. This is a more focused version of that. So this is taking a lot of the tools, techniques you get in a transformation piece that are relevant because they're all about driving the right human behaviours. Once you've got to the point where those behaviours are in play, you apply that onto some pretty technical work. As we produce this output, get it up on the walls, they'll be doing review cycles as we go live. We set up almost a manufacturing process. We run parallel streams of really time-boxed activity. So we set very clear parameters to work to. We often template the work that's done, and then we send the groups out to do that work in parallel. So you've got these streams working together. It is really important that we make sure these things piece together. When we get to the end point, we've got a solution that really integrates well and will work.
Absolutely everything is captured. We will be building a sort of knowledge base of articles for the client to take back with them once this 5-day period is over. What we see in most companies is this siloed working approach, and that's very normal. The key to achieving the collaborative, productive way of working is to combine efforts and work across in a more holistic way. A collaborative hackathon is the best way to go about doing that.
In the normal business world, we've got endless amounts of things that stand in the way of progress. Other work that needs to be done, difficulty getting hold of people, not having the right information at the right time, and also just not having the pressure to make decisions. So we bring all those elements together in one go. In here, the 80-20 rule applies. This is about saying, how do we get to a point that's good and good enough, rather than absolute perfection? Because one, there's no such thing as perfection. Two, the time taken to get that extra bit at the end just is not worth it. We accelerate the decision-making process. We stop some of the procrastination that naturally comes into our day-to-day work, and just make sure that you really get what you need.
And how confident do you feel you're going to get that done by tomorrow?
See about 80%.
80%. Okay, so what do you need from this group to help you get to 100? The key differences between a traditional transformation event and a hackathon are the spontaneity that's involved in it. We've got 10 to 12 teams working in parallel all the way through the 5 days. There are constant teams popping up here and there, with new teams being formed and disbanded quite regularly throughout the 5 days. And that's the beauty of it. It's all about regular huddles that just happen naturally. It's quite fascinating to watch, and once people get used to the process, they just kind of all come together like a moving jigsaw puzzle.
The reason we use this kind of space rather than crowd around laptops, which is typically the way it's done, is that it enables you to collaborate, enables you to share information.
This process is very agile, and we have regular check-ins with our customers. So in this case, our customer is the Hack Board, which is basically a team of people that make sure that the quality of the work is consistent, and it's a way to really drive productivity whilst building in quality checks all the way through it.
The other thing we do quite heavily here is rely on the natural competition that happens between groups. So when groups are out there, there's a natural rivalry that develops, and that means that work gets sped up, but also people want to make sure that they're delivering to the best of their ability, and that's really key.
The level of energy and engagement involved in the design process is really, really crucial to the success of the actual 5-day event.
There's a lot of prep goes into these things, and that's the secret of its success, actually. When it comes to getting the large group of people in the room, they've got the right information, the right people are there, we're asking the right questions. We've thought about and therefore prepared for the type of output and response we want. We spent a lot of time on the first day just making sure that we excited people. We got people to understand why we were doing this, why it was important, get a level set of understanding, but also just learn to collaborate.
And it really breaks down silos, breaks down the traditional barriers that people put up to how this works normally.
The energy we've had in this room has been phenomenal, and I think there was a lot of fear before this that we wouldn't get the levels of engagement we're after.
There was a lot of scepticism to start with, but actually they can see the power of the process, they can see the enthusiasm, the energy it creates. It's about having the faith and trusting the process, because it's a proven approach to collaborative working.
It's all about getting decisions made, getting things done, so that tomorrow we can walk out of here going, do you know what, we're pretty much ready to go into the system.
The hack is really a foundation for any future work that the client is going to face. Once you have that solid foundation of bonds and networks and contacts, then it's easier to just pick up the phone and say, hey, can you help me with this? Which at the moment doesn't exist. So once you've created that way of working, it's naturally going to filter out into the organisation's culture.
It's very hard for a client to make big decisions on complex issues on their own. So I'd like to do a lot more of these with a lot more clients to say, do you know what, if you've got a problem and you're stuck with it, you're stuck with it and you need a lot of people to solve it, then this is probably the only way you can do it.
When you bring together people who've never worked together from their silos, you take them out of their silos and you put them in a space that is creative and open and playful, bonds start to be made. This is where relationships are built, this is where networks are built, and this is exactly what the client needs in order to make sure that the programme is successful going forwards.